rolling, check. Calm and sway off the hardwood. Pump bacon, rim shaking, chilling with. I be rolling out off the hardwood, straight.
Coming up on this edition of Off the Hardwood, the Toronto Raptors help give back to their community as they spend time at the hospital for sick children. JYD speaks to school kids on fulfilling their potential and shares his thoughts on one of his Georgetown teammates.
Here at Oakdale Park, Middle School, Toronto. JYD, let's go inside, meet the dog pound.
English.
You don't? That's your best subject, English? It's not a bad subject to be your best at. That's good. And what's your name?
Chantel.
Chantel? All right, Chantel, it was nice meeting you, okay? All right. On three, we're gonna say dog pound. Can we do it?
Yeah!
1, 2, 3.
Dog pound!
That's what I'm talking about. So, I'll tell you what happened in my life. What happened was, my mom said to me, and my dad, they said, Jerome, you have a lot of potential. Anybody ever told you guys you got potential? Anybody ever? Who hasn't had somebody say that you have potential? Good, because if you did, I was gonna tell you, you all have great potential. My parents said, Jerome, you have a lot of potential, but the only person that's in control here is you. That's Jerome Williams. So that's Chums, and that's everybody else in this room. You know, everybody here, you're in control of your potential. I listened, I said, you know what, it's gonna be hard, but I got potential, you know. They telling me I have potential. People keep telling me I have potential, I'm gonna listen. And I did. And at the end of the day, I played with Allen Iverson, Othello Harrington, Jahadi White, Victor Page, and all of them right now, you guys probably even know, or even if you don't know, they're millionaires. And I got a chance to play with those guys because I listened. When somebody tried to tell me I had potential, I listened, and I kept my grades up, and I listened to my teachers, and I did good in school, and I ain't caused any problems. So they said, okay, listen, we're gonna make a pact with you. And I'm gonna make that same pact with you guys. They said, Jerome, if you get A's and B's, if you get A's and B's, I guarantee you, they said, no, I promise you that you will be able to buy that Ferrari, by the time you get finished with all your schooling. Oh man, that hurt me. 'Cause that means I had to study some more. That means I had to spend some time on my homework. That means I couldn't go out and, play with my friends as much. But they said those words, my parents, and people who care about you, when they make you promises, does anybody in those rooms, did anybody kind of give a feeling like, I gotta pay some close attention to that promise? Anybody? Somebody makes you a promise. I promise you're gonna do this. Well, that's how I felt. I said, well, all right, you promise. And they said, yes. And I said, well, thought about it. I said, okay. All right, as hard as it was, I said, I'm gonna listen and I'm gonna try. I'm gonna do my best. Even if I can't get, all A's and B's, I'm gonna make sure that I at least put in all the effort I can. So at the end of the day, I can say, Mom, I did the best I could, but you know what ended up happening? I ended up getting A's and B's. Because, why? Because I was just like you guys. I had potential. I'm not dumb. I wasn't, it was just all about just a little bit of effort. Kind of prioritizing. I want to play, I got homework. I want to play, but I got homework. Or you know, or behaving in class. You know, if I don't behave, I'm not gonna listen to what the teacher says, and then at the end of the day, I didn't learn anything, so that makes my job a little bit harder. So, you know what my dilemma was? Not one school said we want Jerome Williams. Not one. That means my hopes and dreams are shot. It means like, hold on, I'm supposed to make these millions. I'm supposed to, you know, be like Dr. J, Magic Johnson, all these guys I looked up to and I idolized. And at the end of the day, I'm not good enough. All right, well, got to rethink. We got to go back to the drawing board. What did my parents say? A's and B's. You know, my parents didn't have the money. You know, I don't know how you guys' situations are at home, but my situation was, my parents worked hard, but what you see was what you got. They said you had potential, we want you to do well in school, but we don't have no money. Now I had to go get my own job, pay for my own education to get this Ferrari? That's a tough pill to swallow, isn't it? That's tough. That means I had to have been doing what they said my potential was and go now do it for myself. And in the NBA, they want student athletes. They don't just want an athlete. Because I can go down to the park, I can find some guys that can jump higher than me, that can shoot better, but they don't have this. Can we do it?
Yeah!
1, 2, 3.
Dog out!
That's what I'm talking about.
Up next on Off the Hardwood, Zoe is back. Jerome Williams shares his thoughts on the All-Star Center from the Miami Heat.
For show, look out!